Okay, my dear. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. So, on Friday, my husband, son, and I went to Jumu'ah. My baby was playing on the playground. We went on the slides, on the swings. We had so much fun. It was the best day ever. And I kept telling my husband, like, okay, we have to go home. I have to put him to sleep. He needs to take a nap. You're ruining his sleep because he was like, oh, let's go to BJ's. Let's go here. Let's go to the post office. Let's do this, that, and the other. And I was like, can we go? Like, enough. It was like five something already. And he was up since 9 that morning. And then he's like, oh, but I need to be efficient. We're in the area. Might as well get XYZ done. We were doing whatever he wanted. We came home. My son had slept maybe like 20 minutes in the car. When we came home, I tried putting him to sleep, but he wouldn't. And we didn't have internet the day before, so he didn't get to watch his shows on TV for the whole day and a half or whatever. So then my husband fixed the internet because we had to get another modem, whatever. So I let my kid go and watch his show, and the 1 second I went to the bathroom is when I heard him screaming, and I ran out, and there was blood all over his face. Blood was gushing, it was just crazy. And I didn't know what to do. My husband had just left out, so I was alone. I was freaking out. I took him to the bathroom. I tried washing his face, but he wouldn't let me. He was crying. And then I know that you have to apply pressure to the laceration wound, whatever, just to try to stop the blood from flowing. And I tried with paper towels, but I couldn't. He was crying. I was crying. It was very difficult for me. So I just called my husband. He wasn't picking up. It looks like he ran into one of his former coworkers at the gym and they were talking and catching up on what happened with his termination. And I kept calling him. So I started texting him, like, pick up, pick up, pick up. I was so angry. Um, and then he picked up and I told him, I was like, you need to come home right now. Like, we need to go to the hospital. So what I suspect happened was that he has like a toy truck. I think he may have like put his foot on it and slipped and then hit his forehead on the corner of the TV stand. But I didn't get to see how it happened. For that 1 second I went to the bathroom, which I didn't even get to use, is when it happened. Um, so when we went to the hospital, we were presented with the dilemma of whether we want to do stitches or the glue. So they use Dermabond, medical grade glue, and that is just to help keep the laceration like tight so it can heal on its own, just as stitches would do. The purpose is to just keep it shut, because it'll heal regardless. But if you just leave it like that and not get any stitches or glue or anything done, it's going to leave a bigger scar. So I was doing all my research and, you know, asking people that I knew what they thought. And a lot of people said just go with stitches, but the way my kid was, I couldn't put him through that. They gave him an intranasal dose of midazolam, which is a benzodiazepine. It's supposed to calm him so that they can actually hold him down. I think they had him wrapped like in a little cocoon with towels and blankets and whatever. And then one of the doctors was holding his forehead in such a way like to kind of seal the wound, like keep the laceration tight and, you know, hold it together while the other doctor glues it. So they gave him a dose of midazolam, which was supposed to keep him calm for the procedure, but for some reason, he was. I feel like it made him stronger because after that, he was like kicking, and during the procedure, my husband says he was kicking and hitting and stuff. But after that, he wasn't drowsy, and he was up for 15 hours. And you would think he would fall asleep after having a drug, but he did not get. He looked drowsy and kind of out of it and loopy, but he didn't sleep. So that was the hardest experience of my life with him because I always try my best to be cautious, careful, and to think ahead and to keep my baby safe at all times. Um, but I feel like it was really stupid of me not to have put those protector thingies on the corner of my TV stand. In the hospital, I just went online and I ordered something for like the border of the TV stand, something soft to be like a cushion, I guess. I'll insert a picture. And also those corner protectors for the corners as well. You don't need that if you use the tape around it, but then like the bottom of the TV stand has like a drawer, and that has sharp corners as well, so I can use the corner protectors for that. And I just feel so stupid because I put the corner protectors on this bench table thing here, as you can see. And to think that he spends more time by the TV, and that should have been more baby proofed, so to speak, than the kitchen table. But it didn't even occur to me to do that. And I just left that with the sharp edges exposed, yet the kitchen table I protected. Like, what is wrong with me? So, lesson of the day, of the year, of whatever is, if you have a kid in your house, baby proof everything. If your brain is not working like mine and you don't realize what you should or shouldn't cover the corners of, as common sense as it may be, maybe ask someone else. Um, Two brains, three brains, four brains, whatever, are better than one. I don't know what I was thinking. Clearly, I was not thinking at all for having left the TV stand exposed like that. I think I'm going to regret that for the rest of my life. But it was so difficult because I left the room. I didn't want to be there when they were doing the procedure because I couldn't stand to see my kid like that, first of all. I mean, I was crying in the hospital, I was crying at home before we left. Um, I couldn't listen to him crying like that. I left, I went to use the restroom, which was all the way down the hallway, and I could still hear him crying despite his door being shut. And then I had to walk back to the waiting room, which had a TV on loud, and I could still hear his cries. So it was very difficult, and I don't wish it on my worst enemy, especially that first time I saw him when he was crying at home with the blood gushing all over his face, like on his shirt. He had a white shirt too. He had the laceration on his forehead, but the blood was dripping, and it was just not a nice thing to see. But yeah, learn from my mistake. Please have a first aid kit at home. Even if you're a healthcare professional or medical professional or whatever, if something like this happens to your kid, all your knowledge is going to go out the window. You might panic unless you're a very chill and calm person. Like, I was trying to be calm in the beginning, but then as the blood was gushing everywhere and dripping all over his clothes and his face, I was like, what the hell did you do? And what am I going to do now? Your dad's not here. And I'm not good with blood. Like, I hate blood. It just makes me feel queasy and whatever. And seeing the look on his face was another thing. So have a first aid kit. Please baby proof your home. Baby proof it. Like, you never know. Like, yes, he was fine in these 2.5 years, but this is the first time it happened. And it only takes once for your kid to get hurt. And the crazy part is that I was saying a lot of du'as, making a lot of du'a for him because it was raining on Friday. And this happened a couple of hours later. And I was like, what happened? How did this happen? But reflecting back on it, I just feel like it could have always been worse. Like, this was his forehead, but imagine if it was a little lower and he bumped his eye into the corner of the table. Wouldn't that have been worse? If he like destroyed his eyesight, or even if his eyesight was fine, just hurting your eye like that, if I don't want to imagine it. So the point of this video is things could always be worse. Count your blessings. And sometimes we may think that we're doing things the right way and we're trying to fix our relationship with Allah. So why is it that we're constantly being tested? I have no answer for that besides the fact that Allah tests those whom He loves the most. So just take it as Allah loves me, and that's why I'm being tested. And we shouldn't let that stop us from continuing to try to get closer to Him. And also, the other big takeaway of this video is please baby proof everything and use common sense, because right now I'm just like punching myself in the gut for why I didn't baby proof the TV stand. And the worst part is, like, earlier this week we were at my mom's house and he was playing near their TV stand and he like bumped his chin on the table and he has like a bruise there. Just going across, and then that's like green now, and now he has this new thing with his forehead. And it was very difficult for us in the hospital to decide whether we should go with stitches or glue, because I didn't want to put him under unnecessary pain or, trauma. Like, that's traumatic for him. Even them using glue, even if it doesn't hurt, it's just, he's probably like, who are these people? Why am I here? I'm in pain. Why are they touching me? He doesn't understand that they're there to help him. And when I left, I felt so bad. But I couldn't stay there, not only because I couldn't take it and that I would probably cry and make things worse for him, but I also didn't want him to look at me and be like, why aren't you helping me when these people are like attacking me or holding me down or whatever. And when I came at the end, when it was over, he just reached out for me. He put his arms out, and I went and I hugged him, and he immediately pulled my mask down. I had put a mask on in the hospital towards the end after I left his room when they were doing the procedure, because one kid came into the waiting room and he was coughing his lungs out, and I was like, I'm not trying to get sick. So that was the first time he saw me with the mask for that day. So he was like, "Are you wearing that?" So he was just pulling my mask off. He gave it to my husband. And then after that, he was just like staring into my eyes. I had him standing on the bed, the hospital bed, and I was standing in front of him. He was just like touching my face and looking into my eyes. And then when he saw the doctors and the nurses, he was like going like this to them. I guess like bye bye or all done. Like, please leave me alone now. My mama came. And I felt so bad for him. It was just a very sweet moment. I don't think I'll ever forget it. The way he was looking into my eyes, especially he was drowsy too, and he cried so much. His eyes were swollen. He had a bloody shirt. It was just bad. And um, yeah, August 2nd is gonna go down as the worst day ever. Um, but yeah, I hope everyone else is doing well and that your days have been better than ours. And may Allah allow us to take advantage of our time in the best manner and to thank Him for all of our blessings and just health. Health is wealth. And anytime something like this happens, you're like, oh my goodness, why was I complaining about this or that? I just want my baby to be okay. I just want everything to go back to normal. So, yeah, I hope you guys are doing well and hope to hear from you guys soon. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.